Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, everybody. I'm Preacher Moss, host of the SOS Shout Out Show. You are in the right place if you're in for some engaging conversation and some thought provoking ideas. Listen, we are stripped down, and let me tell you exactly, guys, what's going on, so it's not a surprise here. I woke up this morning thinking I was going to get up and go run and do a couple miles. Looked at my email, a comedy tour that had been proposed was kind of like up in the air due to COVID. All of a sudden it was on, and then I found out that I have to be on a flight tonight at 8 o'clock going to Sydney, Australia. So I'll be there. If this works out, I'll be in Sydney, Australia, Friday, Saturday. I'll be there through March the 7th. But we'll be broadcasting the show. We'll work it out. Even if I got to get up at like 2 in the morning, we will make it happen. Because Satan is like, I ain't doing no shows. No, I'm just kidding. So I just want to give a shout out. Also, I want to give a heartfelt shout out to my aunt, the owner of BeFinanciallyIndependent.com, who was felled earlier this morning with some issues, some health issues. She was hospitalized. So, Big Auntie want to make sure we give you some love and duas. Hope you feel better, and we will make sure I'll be checking on you, make sure that you are back to full capacity. So let's get to this thing. Black History Month. I've kind of enjoyed the idea that I've tackled some concepts. I know with Black History Month, a lot of times we look at the people who did what and they achieved what, and that's all important. Now, and we're going to do some people that we focus on some folks, but I try to look at certain aspects of Black history and this whole convoluted idea that we're going to somehow understand it. So if we can take a moment today, today's topic is going to be economics. Now, behind me, I have a wall, of course, for Black Wall Street. And it's interesting, how hot everybody was about Black Wall Street just a year ago. The movies, the documentaries, and everybody's Black Wall Street, Black Wall Street. And this year, not a peep, not even for Black History Month. We didn't even hear about Black Wall Street. And I do have a theory about why that is, brothers and sisters. But what I want to get into today is the whole idea of Black economics. Something that was missed about the significance of Black Wall Street is really what I want to tie into today. And I really want to start talking about how we, as a foundational people that have literally had to get it from the mud because the laws weren't there to encourage business for African Americans, we had to find a certain pathway, if you will, a certain, I want to say, different gear in terms of getting ourselves to the marketplace and being competitive. And I think that's something I'm going to talk about today, about getting to the marketplace and being competitive. If you think about it, what is the miracle that you are sold in the marketplace and then you find yourself competing in the marketplace? I want to look at that type of spirit, brothers and sisters. That it. Because in terms of black business, we have always had the it, but the problem is we always give it to somebody else, and they do whatever they want to with it, and when they finish, they give it back to us. So, in that space today, I want to take a couple minutes to lay out an argument, if you will, to lay out a very simple argument, to lay out what I think can be some contextually meaningful resources as to how we get ourselves out of a particular situation. And then I also want to talk about how do we advance ourselves? How do we go from this space that we're in to advancing? I always felt that black economics belied something, and it belied the fact that it did not really count on traditional measures in terms of survival and evolution. I joke. I think I told this joke. I don't know if I told it, but not even a joke. Someone asked me when my high school graduation party if I like watermelon. I said I didn't like watermelon. My grandmother was really, really upset. And I realized that it was more so than just eating watermelon. Somebody hit me to the fact that coming out of the antebellum South, coming out of slavery, coming through Reconstruction, that the growing of watermelon was actually very profitable. And it was something that African Americans, newly freed African Americans, were able to excel in. And selling that watermelon, that fruit, if you will, allowed them to do other things and expand it in other business. So, for those who were offended about me talking about watermelon, you understand what I'm coming from. So I apologize. We're gonna get this ball rolling because we have a lot to talk about today. We're talking about understanding our Black history. We're gonna get to economics. As the kid said, get in the bag. Preacher Moss, let's roll.
We just need help.
Imagine if there wasn't an olive branch. Muslim Family Services at your command. The people who help people have to say, we need your donations, don't delay. We all have struggles from time to time, but leaders dedicated is what you find. Before another person sheds a tear, support Olive Branch, you don't have to fear. Olive Branch Muslim Family Services. Action you can see, compassion you can feel. Sing it with me. Ooh. Ooh.
All right, we're back. Again, a shout out to Aunt Maxine. We want to make sure that you're doing all right at George Washington Hospital. Much love from your nephew. Okay, brothers and sisters, so before I get into it, we always talk about economies. Like, you may not really understand this, but the ShOUT Show, the ShOUT Show family, the ShOUT Show soldiers represent a particular type of economy. You could say it's social media, if you will. You could say it's journalistic capital, but actually, no. If I were to, in some regards, empower every person in the ShOUT Show with a particular skill or a particular trade or a particular type of marketable item, I guarantee that those people in the right juxtaposition, the right alignment, can turn around and make money. I literally can say that we can take the ShOUT Show and you're allowed to sell 10 tickets to the ShOUT Show. I'm going to give you 10 tickets to the ShOUT Show. All the money you're going to keep. And the person will say, wait a minute, I can sell 10 tickets. And I say, I'm not going to tell you how much to charge for the tickets. People can do that. Now people go, hey, that's kind of strange to preach, the ShOUT Show is free. No, we make it free because this is an act of love. This is a passion project. But make no mistake about it. The commercials that you see here, Olive Branch and Convenient Urgent Care and things like that, down ballot voting, those commercials were paid for by people. And the vehicle was a ShOUT Show. We put it on, but people saw the fact that we had a platform that at the point in time was going 7 days a week. And I'm just bringing that because I need to kind of soften us up a little bit to start thinking a little bit differently. So before we start thinking a little bit differently, let's get our ShOUT Show family in here. Who we got today? Reed, Sister Reed, talking about hello family. Yes, Sister Reed, thank you so much. Good to have you back. Thank you for reaching out. We'll get some other stuff taken care of. Hopefully before I get out of here. That's gonna be a challenge, but we will see. All right, and I got a note here. I'll talk for Sheed. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, brother. How you doing, man? Thank you so much for tuning in. Everybody, please. This is the short set today, but it looks nice. Thank you guys for coming. I'll talk. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Mr. 6 o'clock, straight up, straight down, brother Eric Carter, who's on the podcast. He's on the stream today, live and early. Brother Eric, I'm never going to talk about you being late again, brother. I've noticed you coming on time, brother. So I'm going to stop calling you Eric, and I'm going to call you Eric. How about that, brother? I'm going to give you the white government name, Eric. There you go. I hope that feels better. All right, man. And we got Brother Bilal Salahuddin talking about, salam from all of us. Well, brother, wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to all of you and your family. Give Sister Sonia a shout out. We haven't seen her in a minute, but tell her, we've been thinking about her. All right. Next up, we got Sister Ike coming in all the way from Depok, Indonesia. Depok, not Jakarta, but Depok, Indonesia. Hope you're doing well, Sister Ike, and life is treating you and your family well. Next up. And we got the report from Mama Son. She says, my Aunt Maxine is home now. Thanks for SOS prayers. All right. Well, that prayer came in early, and we're going to make sure it comes in often. We're going to make sure that she is in the best of health. We don't want her to feel better. We want her to feel the best that she can be. All right. And we got another get well, of course, from Sister Reed. She says, get well, Auntie Mac. Love you much. And I know Sister Satana had one. And then she do all the healing to Aunt Maxine. Thank you so much, Satana. Much love. And of course, wa alaikum assalam rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So let's talk about this thing. The kids talking about getting the bag or securing the bag. I hear that a lot. And then that just tells me how old I am. I'm like, a bag. But a bag represents metaphorically a holding spot. So let me flip it around. It's not getting the bag, it's what you do to acquire content to put in the bag. And that content has to frame the functionality of the bag in and of itself. There's bags. If you watch some of the old documentaries, you can see women in Africa with bags of water. And that water framed the value of the bag. You see women with Gucci bags. And I don't know why they buying Gucci bags, but they're buying Gucci bags. And something has framed the content and the value of the Gucci bag. The trash bag. What frames the value of the trash bag? It's the amount of trash that it can hold. But in economics, brothers and sisters, the bag represents something different. Each bag has its own DNA in the context of how it works with a financial structure. Whether it's media, whether it is banking, whether it is land, real estate, they all have a certain nomenclature in the context of how it's transferable. And for African Americans, brothers and sisters, what we overlook with Black History Month talking about economics is we're not looking at the fluidity and the amount of money that goes in and out of our hands. Where does it flow? How does it come back to the community? How are we able to leverage that money? Instead of, I'm going to pay $100,000 for a $100,000 house, how can I leverage $10,000 and still get the same $100,000 house? These are the questions that you begin to ask. And for a lot of reasons, brothers and sisters, we're not necessarily told about economics. Same way we've talked about technology, if you will. Technology and economics are based upon principles of who gets there first. And the people that get there first in terms of economics and economic opportunities, by merit and by habit most of the time, they're not really privileged to share with other folks. Let's be honest. Poor folks don't hang out with rich folks. Rich folks don't hang out with poor folks. Many of us, the first time we actually ran into somebody that really had a lot of money, a lot of times it's at college. You say in the neighborhood, well, you ran somebody that had a lot of money in the neighborhood. Either they were a heck of an entrepreneur or they were a drug dealer. And their money was suspect. But even the drug dealer had a philosophical understanding of how you accrue money. These are not dumb young men. These are not simpletons. These are very complex individuals. Now, the product is illegal. The product is illegal. Why is the product illegal? Because they understand that the law has said it's illegal. And for many of us, we deal with the fact that the law, in terms of African Americans earning, owning, and acquiring, has been problematic for quite a number of years. One of my favorite heroes is a gentleman named Reginald Lewis. He wrote the book, Why Should All the White Boys Have Fun, talking about economics. And he said one of the things that was really, really troubling is he got to a space and he realized that the information that he had, even if he gave it to a lot of African Americans, they weren't in a position, if you will, to really, really take advantage of it. Thus, he began the process of bringing in a lot more African Americans, and you would see people that were running American Express, and they were African Americans because he brought them in. One of the things we need to do is when we take our children, if you will, to the store. Do not take the children to the front of the store. Arrange it maybe that you take them to the back of the store. And what happens in the back of the store is the merchandise comes in, but it's not, brothers and sisters, priced. It has a tag, but it doesn't have a price. And the fact that these people can go and put a price on it, knowing that we're going to attach a value to it, it's almost like heroin or crack. We are addicted to valuation. I'm going to give a shout out to JT. We are addicted to valuation. And even more so, I think we're addicted to bad valuation. Buying things that are overpriced. Why are we buying things that are overpriced? Because a person says, this is what it costs. If you don't like it, they kick rocks, but it's not even kick rocks in economics. It's that you can broker, if you will, broker pricing. You can broker deals. You can actually look at the fact that land is a commodity. Like jewelry is not a commodity, but gold is. You see what I'm saying, brothers and sisters? You got your gold around your neck is not like gold on a trade on a trade site. Platinum around your neck is not the same as platinum's being traded on Wall Street. And these things, brothers and sisters, I think personally are the stuff that holds us back. Clearly, some of the people who have been amazing entrepreneurs, outstanding entrepreneurs, suffer from something that, and I'm going to say this, they suffer from the fact that they're not supported. They're not necessarily supported. They're not necessarily supported. And it's almost heretical how we treat some of these big folks that actually start the same place we start. They work up, they're successful, they have businesses, but when they come back, they don't know us because we're not on a trajectory with them. We find ourselves falling into things. Listen, you know, my grandfather and my uncle said something that was very hurtful to me when I was a very, very young kid. I get it now because I couldn't see it in myself. My grandfather told me, whatever you're going to do, boy, you better do it well. He said, because I can't find a white man in his right man is going to hire you to do anything. He said he couldn't think of a white man in his right mind that was going to hire me. Okay, here's the deal. He was right. He was 100% right. I haven't been able to work for a white man my whole life and haven't tried. Okay, I'm going to give that up for Grandpa. But here's the thing that I want you guys to think about as we go to the break. What is it that holds us back from creating our own economic models, revenue generators? When we get it, why is it we feel as though we have to give it out to the world? You work to build something and you take it here, believing that somehow that system that's denied you is going to be fair when you bring something that's innovative, that's creative, that's groundbreaking, that's revolutionary. These are the things that they've put, I want to say these are things that they fear. And we give them great product. And they fear the ingenuity. They fear the innovation. And somehow we're still having conversations with them. We're going to talk about that when we come back here on the ShOUT Show.
Hey, babies. Welcome to Radio WCUC, Convenient Urgent Care, home of the smart patient. This is DJ What It Do. You know what time it is. It's the top of the hour, and the request lines are open. You know what you want to hear? I know what you want to hear. Operators are waiting.
I just got to hear Don't Get the COVID.
Don't get the COVID. Put your mask back on. The Delta COVID, more contagious than before. Don't get the COVID. Go on and get the vaccine. You know that it can keep you safe. And your people living up in your space. Don't get the COVID, you need to wash your hands. The Delta COVID is more deadly than before. Don't get the COVID, go on and get your vaccine. You know that it can keep you from dying. Don't leave your family all alone and crying. Don't get the COVID.
We invite you to join our fight against COVID and against misinformation. It's time to listen to the doctors and trust the science.
When I think of people dying that don't have to die, it makes me sad. Now's the time to be sober. Together we can make this thing over. Let's fight the COVID. Convenient urgent care, home of the smart patient.
All right. So let me throw this out here, because I was thinking about it earlier today. I believe one of the reasons that a lot of people are upset and up in arms about critical race theory. It's critical race theory in a very, very succinct way addresses aspect of black empowerment that could actually lead over into black economics. When I say black empowerment, it is the idea that there's something innate about black culture, something innate about black existence, that it can't be marketed anyplace else. It can't be taken, it can't be recalibrated, it can't be duplicated. And I know for a fact, brothers and sisters, that white supremacy and those who engage in white supremacy live in absolute terror. They spend nights up awake worrying about the fact that the African American and other people of color, but specifically the African Americans, we seem to show the way for everybody else, that specifically the African American is going to figure it out. That we're going to come up with our own currency that they can't spend, that they can't take. The DNA of that intelligentsia, if you will, the intellectualism that used to be back in the 30s and 40s in the Renaissance days, and it peaked a little bit in the Black Panther days, and after the Reagan years it was kind of cast aside. But there was that thing about the black businessman. One of the things that happened during the Reagan years that a lot of people don't realize is that the SBA stopped really making a lot of loans to minorities. Not until maybe this year with COVID did people actually receive large loans that in many regards were generational. Having a business that struggled and all of a sudden you get a check for $150,000 that you can actually use for investment, you can actually use for capital costs and equipment, you can actually use for hiring other people to expand your business. That hadn't happened before. And I believe even more so as we began to look, and of course we're heading into inflation now, COVID in some regards was a revenue generator. It was a life taker as well, but it was a revenue generator. My question is, with all of these things, we see economic models that are not inclusive of us at the beginning of the funnel or the end of the funnel, not inclusive of us. When we get money, oftentimes it's like the person happened to be in the right place, the right time, but I will also add they spend a lot of time trying to be in the right place in the right time. It seems to me, brothers and sisters, that folks are beginning again to wait on African Americans to come up with the newest thing and then capitalize on it. Case in point, you've heard me talk about NFTs, and I will have a very important announcement about NFTs next month. But you heard me talk about NFTs and the democratization of the entertainment business and things like that. A couple of things happened around the Super Bowl. Snoop Dogg, Calvin Brodus, he actually bought the record label back of Death Row Records. And he has a song back on Death Row. It's a company with like a documentary. It's like, I don't know, 55 minutes. It's very laid out, and he definitely leveraged his appearance on the Super Bowl. But what he did was interesting. And several artists had done this. Wu-Tang Clan comes to mind. But several artists had did this. What he did was he made an announcement that he was going to release a drop of 25,000 NFTs. Now, 25,000 NFTs. This is him saying, I'm going to drop new music in my NFT. Each NFT was $5,000. Now you say, oh, he didn't sell all 25,000 NFTs, but do the math. He sold almost 4,500 NFTs. And if you start doing the math, that's a little under $44 million. What do we learn here? First, Snoop Dogg was very, very careful. He understood, I'm going to own my masters. I own my music. So when you put the music out, there's no one else to put their hand out. Hey, Snoop, I'm the distributor. Hey, Snoop. And what I like about it is the people who buy these NFTs for $5,000, they're going to hold value, and they're very certain, very confident that the NFT is going to grow. So if you put in $5,000, it might jump to $15,000. So you see how the crypto game works. It's a little down right now. Thank you, Russia. But my point is, if you really, really, really start looking at what he did, the question is, it's not particularly original. The only thing that separates him from us is the initiative to do so, to think a little bit more creatively, but also to think strategically. Because what Snoop Dogg did, and I want this to be very clear, what he did was he cut out the distributors, he cut out the managers, he cut out all the A&R people, and all that money came to him. Now, let's give a little credit where it's due. It may be said that good old what's his name? Oh my gosh, Master P started talking about business and real estate and things like that, and it was a good talk. I really enjoyed Master P. But the fact that the guy just took a technology that's relatively new and flipped it into $44-some million off of music, if he put it on Apple, which he will maybe, but if he put it on iTunes or Spotify and he'd have never got that money. And what I like about it is he didn't ask people's permission. When you're going for the bag, do us a favor, brothers and sisters. If you have a tremendous idea, don't ask for permission. Don't worry about, oh, I got to get the money in that, and they don't put, no. Good ideas will find money. Look at this guy. What did he really do with an NFT? It might have cost him, I don't know, $5,000 really put that whole thing together. Now he's sitting on $44 million. Why can't that be you? Why can't that be us? You know, but it's also a community too. And I'm going to talk in depth about our communities, how we can get together and coalesce and make money. So listen, I'd love to stay here, brothers and sisters, but I got a flight to catch. Excuse me. Inshallah, I will see you on Monday. God bless you. Thank you so much. Much love, Maxine. There you go. All right. Thanks, Mom. Appreciate you. We'll see you guys on the other side Monday. Tuesday. I guess I'll see you Tuesday. Thursday. I got to see him on Thursday. Sorry, Satana. I'll work it out. I'm tired. Okay, so I got to go. So, Satana, let's go ahead and roll because your brother is tired heading on this whole 16, 19-hour flight. But God bless everybody. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Hey, babies. Welcome to Radio WCUC, Convenient Urgent Care, home of the smart patient. This is DJ What It Do. You know what time it is. It's the top of the hour, and the request lines are open. You know what you want to hear. I know what you want to hear. Operators are waiting.
I just gotta hear don't get the COVID.
Don't get the COVID. Put your mask back on. The Delta COVID, more contagious than before. Don't get the COVID. Go on and get the vaccine. You know that it can keep you safe. And your people living up in your space. Don't get the COVID. You need to wash your hands. The Delta COVID is more deadly than before. Don't get the COVID. Go on and get your vaccine. You know that it can keep you from dying. Don't leave your family all alone and crying. Don't get the COVID.